3 up, 2 across, tap that play button 3 times, and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello and welcome to Dialogue Alley, the official Potter Collector podcast about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. I'm Melanie.
I'm Carly.
And tonight it is just the two of us. We're recording kind of like a redo episode of something that we had recorded a while back that just like never made it to the general public, but an updated version because something big has happened in the Harry Potter book collecting community that has to be discussed. So we're going to be chatting all about that today. It is our news. It is our main segment. We will be chatting about everything that is the Scholastic Goblet of Fire Illustrated Edition that is going to be coming out.
Something like that. I was just saying that when you were saying the Scholastic Goblet of Fire is like the Scholastic Dumpster Fire is what went through my head.
I know, dumpster of fire. Oh my God. Yeah, it's going to be interesting talking about this.
Yeah.
Well, if you are new to our podcast, you joined us on a fun day. We're going to be like ranting and raving this whole episode, and you only have the two of us to deal with. We are Harry Potter book translation collectors, so we collect Harry Potter books in all languages from all over the world. Carly has an official library in her house, essentially.
Yep.
I definitely am a little bit shy of that. I was saying to Carly that I haven't gotten a new book in such a long time that I am just like plateauing. But I do have a list of books that I like need to get to catch up. So one day, one of these days, I'll get there. Books. I'll get there. We'll figure it out. I'll get new books. Once I like figure out what stroller I need to get, then maybe I can get back to getting books. So this is season 5, episode 9 of our podcast, and we are going to jump right into our news/main segment, which is going to be a full-on discussion of the Scholastic Illustrated Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, the announcement, they put the announcement out yesterday, I believe Scholastic did. For the book. And yeah. It's made a lot of waves. I've seen a lot of opinions actually kind of strongly for and against the publication of the book. There's a lot there though. Like it's a very charged topic. Because of course, MinaLima is not they're not the artistic body behind this book. It's someone else. I don't even know who it is.
Keep going. I'll find the name.
And I think what is so frustrating is that the style of the book, the cover of the book, what I saw of the illustrations of the book, they kind of remind me of like the Timu version of MinaLima. Like, it looked like they ripped off their artwork, but not in a good way. I don't know. I'm also very biased toward MinaLima, if I'm being very honest. So that, of course, is going to skew all of my vision about the other book, about the Goblet of Fire. I don't really have any want to buy the book, to even look at it. I don't want to give Scholastic. I almost don't want to buy any other Scholastic books. Because I think what they did was pretty terrible.
And granted,
or what
that's what I was going to say. I feel like, granted,
story,
we don't really know what the full story is, right? And then for those of you who don't really know too much about what we're talking about is years ago, MinaLima in the past have done these beautiful, intricate, illustrated, interactive books. And they've done a lot of classic books. I have like a copy of Beauty and the Beast that they did. I know they did like, I think Alice in Wonderland, The Wizard of Oz, and The Little Mermaid, like some beautiful books that they just bring to life in their own unique way that only MinaLima can do. So when they were assigned to do the Harry Potter books, the Harry Potter community went nuts for it, especially because they're the graphic designers behind anything in the Harry Potter movies. If you don't know, they are the ones, if you look at a chocolate frog card, if you look at the Marauders map, a platform 9 3/4 ticket, those are all things that MinaLima designed. The letter. Anything that you can picture that's an object from Harry Potter was designed by MinaLima for most part, you could say. So yeah, we were all so excited to have these books designed by them, to see Harry Potter through their eyes in a completely different medium. And they did it in such a way that it almost had nothing to do with the movie time. And I feel like we became so invested in these books. We were all so excited when these books came out. I know I bought all of them the day they came out. I bought signed copies of the books. And Carly and I recorded an entire episode about our feelings about them not continuing on for the rest of the series, which honestly only feels like a few months ago that news broke, that MinaLima weren't going to be continuing. So that makes it feel like
I know
all of this was going on with this other illustrator.
I feel like it was July.
July? I think it was August, something like that. But
later than that.
It makes me feel like they couldn't have had this artist just start once they broke the contract with MinaLima or it was announced. This had to have been in the works for a long time.
No.
And that is horrible. Like, it's horrible to think about. The illustrator's name is Carl James Mountford.
It feels like a betrayal in a way, or like...
I feel bad.
Cool. I'm at a quandary. I was actually telling someone... Yeah, I was telling someone, because on my website I try to have, all of the books that have ever been published up to date. So I'm going to have to acknowledge that these books exist, but I don't think I'm going to link the illustrator like I did everyone else. I don't know. I'm pretty sour grapes about it right now.
It just feels very like stab in the back. It feels very shady. And it feels so betrayal is like the perfect word. I feel like
a betrayal.
Us as like a Harry Potter community feels betrayed, and we feel just horrible for MinaLima. Like something had to have happened, and not for nothing. What a big mistake Scholastic has made. Scholastic made
something happened.
Big boo-boo here. Like, it's not going to go well. And I could tell you, just based on the feedback that this book has already gotten, the sales for this book are not going to be near what they were for the first 3 books. And let alone, if they put this book in a box set with those first 3 books, they ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Like, I don't wish bad things on people,
embarrassing.
But I don't want the book to do well, which I guess is wishing bad things for people. Yeah, I'm not buying the book.
No,
I'm very firmly not buying the
I honestly
book.
don't think I will be either, unless like if someone's giving a copy away, or maybe I would get it secondhand, but like I don't feel like I would feel comfortable buying it directly to support Scholastic in this.
No, and I almost don't want to support Scholastic anymore at all, because I feel like this is so shady. I really don't want to support Scholastic much. Like, even with the new box set that's coming out with like the sprayed edges, I don't even know that I want to give them any more of my money. Like, I may buy that secondhand.
Yeah, I feel like we were all on the fence about whether or not we were going to get that anyway. But, like, I don't know. I just feel like this book is such, like, a slap in the face. And it's like, I was going to say, you know, in Harry Potter, like, you know, in the 8th movie when, like, Harry comes up and he's like, how dare you stand where he stood? Like, that's how I feel with this book. It's like this guy, this poor illustrator who in his own right is not a bad illustrator. He was like, he's like an innocent bystander in this who's like, I'll get paid to do Harry Potter books. This is great. Probably not realizing all the drama that's going along with this book. Like, it's not good. It's really not good. I was reading comments on, like, Scholastic posted the book and announced the book on Facebook. I would say 95% of the comments were negative, saying, not MinaLima, not gonna buy. Period.
Yep. I would say I looked on the Instagram comments yesterday and it was the same. Most of them were like, it's not a MinaLima book. It doesn't count. I'm not buying. You know, so many people are supporting MinaLima. I think because there's just the air that they got done dirty. And I think we can see that in how the book itself looks like a knockoff of their artwork. So right. I feel like they wanted similar art. They didn't want to pay the money. I feel like that's what it came down to. And I feel like it shows.
It's just so terribly unfortunate.
At the end of the day, so I'm upset for the illustrator who is having to stand here and essentially be the fall guy, because that's what's going on. And people are going to compare his art to MinaLima. That's what Scholastic did by how they pitched everybody against each other. I don't know. They should have just stopped the series, in my opinion. They should have just stopped it.
Yeah,
because in my mind, it is stopped. And I won't continue.
And not for nothing. That's not unbeknownst to Scholastic, right? Like, where Scholastic is...
It wouldn't be the first time they did something weird.
Exactly. I can name Scholastic did the mass market paperbacks. They only did books 1 through 3, and all were formatted differently.
The collector's
editions, only books 1 and 2. The deluxe editions, only books 5, 6, and 7.
3, 5, and... Yeah.
So, like... It wouldn't be outside the realm of them to just stop at books 1 through 3, and they should have. They really should have, because this book is, like, honestly, it's offensive. It's offensive.
Yeah, I think it's pretty audacious they went through it. And, of course, this is just our own opinion. I was just floored. Like, yesterday when I saw the announcement on Instagram, my stomach dropped. Mm-hmm. And I could not imagine how MinaLima would feel. And it was weird going to MinaLima's website and there was no mention of Potter at all.
No.
Like, no Harry Potter books.
I mean, here, I just want to read an excerpt. This is from the Rolling Library. It says, as the U.S. publisher of Harry Potter, it's exciting to see J.K. Rowling's beloved series illustrated and reimagined by a talented group of international artists over the years, including Mary Grandpré, Brian Selznick, Kazu Kibuishi, Jim Kay, MinaLima. I don't know who this is. Zio Gao? Who's that? I don't know. Gonna look that up, because who is that?
I'm gonna look that up.
And now Carl James Mountford. I'll look it up in 2 seconds. We're thrilled to continue to publish these beautifully illustrative interactive editions that Harry Potter fans, as well as new readers, will enjoy and treasure and collect. No, I won't.
No.
Okay, and then this is a statement from the illustrator. I grew up with Harry Potter, and these books are so special and a real throwback to my childhood. That's the magic of Harry Potter. The stories are for everyone, always will be. It's wonderful, surreal, and a little bit terrifying to illustrate. Terrifying, no kidding, to illustrate the interactive edition of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. With big and extremely talented footsteps to follow, it's an honor to be part of this magical world and have the opportunity to work on a story that I love so much. With the incredible team of Potterheads at Scholastic, it's been a remarkable experience for me. I hope the readers can look for the love, respect, and adventure within my artwork, bringing my own flavor and creativity and continuing such a stunning collection of books. I mean, like, I feel bad for the guy. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm so perturbed that I'm honestly angry about this. If I'm being very honest, it makes me angry. I feel like something shady happened. I feel like they were done very dirty. And of course, we don't know. They could have been the ones who did Scholastic dirty, but I don't think so. Just because of how things have shaken out.
Oh, the person that I mentioned before, it's Z Gao, and she illustrated like one of those like special edition books, like Hogwarts, Christmas at Hogwarts or something like that.
Okay.
That's what, not actually Harry Potter books.
Okay.
Just so we all know. But I just feel bad for this guy. Like, honest, he is basically, I hope that readers can look for the love, respect, and adventure within my artwork. Like, please respect the fact that I had to step into these shoes. It's like, I'm not at all mad at this guy and who like worked hard and did all of these illustrations. Like, I feel like I can't say anything personally against this illustrator because someone had to do it apparently, but it just should have been MinaLima.
It should have been MinaLima. I wonder how many other artists said no.
I don't know.
Because I'm curious how long they've had this guy lined up. You know what I mean? To make this guy step into their shoes, I would have had, like, if I were them, I would have had to offer a lot. I wouldn't have wanted to do it.
But in the same breath, like, this is very quick. Like, they already have so many images posted from inside this book. Like, and they just released the fact that MinaLima wasn't doing this over the summer. This guy had to have been working on this book for quite some time because I feel like MinaLima even have said that it took them years to work on each individual copy. You know, like each book. So
I'm curious how, you know, one of the things, the MinaLima books, every page was a delight. Every page had something. So I don't know if, I doubt this book would have the time to be that in depth. But also, if there's a lot of really intricate, detailed things, I go back to, when did this start?
Mm-hmm. It's like a cheating relationship that overlaps.
I know. I didn't want to say that but that's what it feels like. It feels like such betrayal. Such a cheatery is afoot.
I know. And cheatery is afoot.
I don't. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. Like, something feels amiss.
Dirty.
And I feel like and I figure that nobody can really say what's going on because of legal things. But
so we're just left here to speculate, honestly, is where we're at.
Yeah. We can kind of gauge, I think, from MinaLima's statement, because they were the only ones who really said anything, like, about it. I feel like they were very disappointed in everything, I can imagine, because
look at how much they've done for this community. And granted, it's their job, right? They're graphic designers. It's their job to do all of this design work. But they seem to love
it, or they wouldn't be here.
Absolutely. Like, they're genuine fans at the end of the day as well. Like, they love this series. Mm-hmm. It's so near and dear to them. So the fact that, like, these books were just taken away from them, and not for nothing, this is the part that, like, gets me so upset, is that MinaLima are the ones that, like, coined these interactive illustrated books.
I know.
They did all of these other editions before Harry Potter it was even thought of. Like, this was their concept to make these interactive, like, editions, and they brought their concept to Harry Potter. And now they're having someone else just take their ideas, take their concept. That is so messed up.
It's wrong. It's wrong. I think that's... And I don't know if the people who are excited about the book 4, they may not understand that. You know, they just may be excited to finish out the series. But, you know, it's not like the Jim Kay thing where, you know, Jim Kay had to step away for medical reasons and all of that. This is...
But that wasn't done in poor
awful.
taste. That was done, hey,
No,
Jim Kay's having a hard time.
That was done well.
Jim Kay's having a hard time. Let's bring someone on to work with Jim Kay for the 5th book, and maybe that person will continue on, and maybe we'll finish the series. But we still don't have confirmation as to whether or not they're finishing that series at all. Like, I look at my shelf, and I see books 1 through 5, and it hurts my heart because I would love a full set of those, even if it wasn't Jim Kay finishing it at this point. Like, I would be okay if they finished an illustrated edition, because millions of books make an illustrated edition, right? Millions. There are illustrated editions of everything. They came out with illustrated Hunger Games this past year, but not every book has an interactive pop-up graphic
exactly
illustrated edition. That was a MinaLima thing that was stolen from them.
Right. And I think that's just exactly it, as we can see how it was done in poor taste with this one. The Jim Kay thing was done as well as it could be. And I'm just very angry. I'm angry at them continuing. I feel very betrayed.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be angrier, which isn't really angrier, but, like, this is just, like, a nod to, like, us and our, like, translation collector community. This article that I'm reading right now is talking about how 600 million copies sold worldwide in 85 languages. They don't even know. They say 85 languages. They don't even know.
No, they don't even know.
They don't even know what they're saying. They don't even know what they're saying. And if you are wondering what it is that we're talking about, 85 is a kind number, because we all know that there are definitely more than that. Maybe it's 85. I feel like we always get twisted up on, like, languages.
Translations are different.
Yeah. It's a wild
because
ride.
There's some languages that have more than one. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's a wild ride. But we're all on the Hogwarts Express that is the train of adventure in book collecting. I don't know what I'm saying.
What are your thoughts? Will you be buying this book?
No. I can't do it.
No.
I can't do it. I think that what I want to do is I want to buy, and we talked about this in, like, a previous episode, I want to buy the box set of books 1, 2, and 3. I want to consider that a complete set. And move on with my life and pretend that the set was never completed. And if I get it, it would be like similar. It would be like if someone gifts me a copy, or if I get a copy for free, if I get it secondhand for, like, I can't directly contribute money to it, is how I feel.
Yeah. I just feel like it's rewarding bad behavior if I were to buy it, and I just don't agree with that.
No, I'm very not happy. Very, very big not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we've exhausted all feelings talking about this book. So why don't we talk about a book that we really do love, which is today's translation of the show. And is not
related to the MinaLima.
No. Has nothing to do with it. Today's translation of the show. Here it is.
It's not related. Yeah. The translation of the show has nothing to do with anything MinaLima. They don't even have one in their language. I checked last night. I know. It is the Lithuanian book 1, Heris Poteris ir Ismenites Akmuo. And that's so wrong.
I love
But it's the
this
Lithuanian. Book. Yeah, the Mary Grand Pré, the first book. Published by Alma Litera, which is the Lithuanian publisher in Vilnius, Lithuania. And it's quite a book. Like, it's funny. My my relationship with this book, this was one of the first translations I ever purchased when I started collecting way back in like 2014, I think, is when I started collecting. Yeah, 14. And it was one of the first ones I ever purchased. And I really loved it when I got it. And then as I saw other covers and more things, I was like, well, it's just a normal Mary Grand Pré cover. It didn't do anything for me. And then I was going to sell my whole Lithuanian set. And now I'm like, I'm probably keeping it. I really like it. Like, I got my Lithuanian page up to date last night on my website. I'm, doing a video on the books. And I'm like, I really love these. I can't sell them now. So I love the book. A little bit about the language. There's about 3 million speakers of the language. And most of them live within Lithuania. We've talked about, I think, the other Lithuanian books a few times. So we don't have to spend much more time there. But I don't know. Like, this is one of the first, like, not one of the first, but it was an earlier translation. It dates from 2000. So, I mean, this book is 25 years old. It was printed in 2000, which is cool.
Yeah.
So,
this book is wonderful. I'm very excited to be talking about it. It's one of the things that we'll be discussing in the Tots. It's in, like, my top 5, like, favorites. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Hang on. I have no idea or no recollection of how I got my book, but I just opened it and saw, like, a little receipt, like, piece of paper. So it might have been, like, an eBay situation.
I am pretty sure I bought mine off Peter.
That makes sense.
Like, I'm pretty sure I got half of my not box set, but half of my set off Peter. And the others, I think, came from eBay or the publisher. Also, they make Beetle the Bards. So if I buy from the publisher, I'm going to accidentally buy a Beetle.
Accidentally on purpose.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't collect books.
Hate when that happens.
It's for shipping only. It makes shipping easier. The translator is Zita Mariene. I don't know how to pronounce Lithuanian.
That sounded
I apologize.
pretty good. That sounded pretty good.
And she actually wound up translating all 7 books, which I think is cool.
I love when
so
that
I would
happens.
think the continuity between I would think that help continuity between translations be more fluid. That would be my guess. Let's see. I guess we can just get into the Tots.
Let's do it. Well, what about, like, the rarity and value of the book before we talk about how it smells?
Well, you can still buy all the books from the publisher.
All right, so there you go.
Including the Mary Grand Pré. They're between 16 and 30 euro plus shipping. So, I mean, around $50, 55, 60 once it's all said and done. If you're only just going to buy one book. So, but I mean, that's the price of translation collecting.
There you go.
But yeah, and they also do Jim Kay illustrated editions. I know way too much about Lithuanian books right now.
Ooh, I mean, that's pretty cool. All right, Tots. Let's smell it.
Mine is just acceptable. It smells like not much, which is good actually for a 25-year-old book.
You know, when I first opened mine, like, I was able to smell it before I even, like, stuck my nose in. I will give it, like, and I can't tell if I like it or not. That's the problem. No, I'll give it exceeds expectations. It definitely, like, has a smell to it. My edition is, like, fairly old. Like, it might be, like, an earlier print.
What does it say? When does it say it was printed on the title page?
I don't know where it does. It doesn't.
It'll be at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's weird. Mine says 2000.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, it definitely has a smell to it.
That's
I will give it.
The only date mine gives.
I'll give it exceeds expectations.
That's good. Mine just doesn't smell like much of anything, which you know is not always bad.
No, not always bad.
Mm-mm. Sorry, I was reading the colophon.
That's okay.
What do we think of the size and proportions? This book is always epic for that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I was going to say, where it, like, is in, like, my top 5. Like, size and proportions are absolutely outstanding. This is a big, big book. It is really tall. It is really wide. It's, like, bigger than the size of my hand, spread out. She is a big, 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 beautiful book. I love this one. It's one of my absolute favorites.
Same. I actually have to make my shelves taller. Like this one and my Kumai have to be on certain shelves because of how tall they are.
I love that.
So I actually had to make the shelves that it's on taller so I could fit them, which I think is pretty cool.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I think they're outstanding. The size and proportions for me are outstanding. Pretty easy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And how does it feel in your hand?
How it feels in my hand, I will also give it an outstanding. One of the things I love is how, like, the paper is pretty, like, deep set into the boards. Do you see what I mean? And I love that the paper is curved because of the spine. So, like, when you hold the book at that side, it kind of, like, fits into your hand really cool. I love that. I also, is your book shiny?
Yeah.
Mine is not at all. Mine is very, very matte. And it's like a very soft, smooth texture. And I love it.
My chamber is that way.
Hold it
My
up.
My chamber is more matte.
Yeah, yours is super shiny. Huh, look at that. Yeah, mine is very matte. But I love how, I would give it outstanding for sure for how it feels in my hand. I love the texture of it.
So mine, it just feels like a shiny book. Like, but it's not tacky. You know how, like, sometimes books with, like, the shiny whatever can get to feel tacky if you handle it a bunch, or it doesn't feel like that. Like, you can rub your fingers up and down and it doesn't get held by anything. So that's nice.
I get it.
And quality of the book.
I'm going to give the quality and exceeds expectations only because my pages are very yellowed. The quality of the paper, I guess, is not great. Unless that's what they were going for. Like, if they were going for yellowed paper because it goes with, like, Harry Potter, like, vibes, then spot on. However, I highly doubt that. I just think that the paper just did not hold up well over time.
So I would actually agree. I think exceeds expectations. I think it's a fair assessment. And if you feel like, at least on my book, the paper used, it's a thick paper. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't see to the other side. It's really nice quality that way. So it's thick.
It just yellows.
It yellows very quickly, so it's oxidizing, and around the edges where it's oxidizing, it's also quite dry. Mm-hmm. So, like, if I were to dog ear it, I feel like it would tear off the tab at this point.
Yes.
Because it's lost so much moisture.
Yes.
So that, it reminds me of some of the paper, like, from the Vietnamese cereal books. How dry and kind of hard that it is. Like, if you were to fold it at all, it just wouldn't handle it. So I would say exceeds expectations. I think the book itself is still readable. It's still nice and readable. It was bound really, really well, but I just don't think the paper was super great. At the end of the day, it's thick, but I think it was still on the cheaper end of thick papers.
Yeah.
So cover art and interpretation of.
I mean,
this one's fun to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my interpretation of the cover art kind of, like, goes into what my X factor is. So I'm just
yes, I think they're they're going to be the same for us. So I think we can just go into both now.
The fact that you open up the book and the end papers is the cover art continuation, that is unbelievable. Like it's so cool.
The blue paste down and in papers of the back end is so much fun, and when you open it up, it's maroon.
Like that's unbelievable.
I know. And I love that they continue the artwork inside the book. And that, because they don't have a jacket. They're hardcovers without a jacket. So I love that you see this more of the artwork than just what's on the cover. You open it up and you get a treat. And then you finish the book and you get a treat.
It just feels like a very like unique feature. I feel like I haven't seen that in any other book. So cover art interpretation, I would give an outstanding just based on that alone. And again, that's my X factor, is those end papers are just so cool, so unique. The fact that they cover,
I would agree.
They do the artwork the way that they did is just amazing.
Yep. You actually do see the internal artwork continuing on the Croatian books as well, the Mayor Gunprey Croatian books. That also, but it's different. They do it differently.
Okay.
But I don't know of very many others where you see that. I can only think of these two.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan. And I like how the end papers or paste downs are different colors between the front and the back. I think that's fun. And they're pretty. They're jewel tones.
It's so nice. It's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this one.
It's an easy book to like. Like, I was fully going to, sell my whole Lithuanian set just because, my Grand Prix one, just because I already have the 20th anniversary and it's another Grand Prix cover book. But they did such a good job that I don't want to not have it,
Yeah, no. I love this book. I love it. Overall, it's one of my favorites. Just because of the size and proportion is just absolutely amazing on it. I love it.
Same.
Love it.
Same.
So yeah, I feel like we had a lot to talk about today, but it ended up being kind of like a mini episode.
We did it fairly quickly.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah, it was a big feelings episode. We had a lot of feelings, and we just needed to get them out today. But nice.
We ranted in soapbox for 5 minutes, and then we were okay.
And then, okay, now we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about now. Here's something you'll really enjoy. We got to talk about a book that we actually like. So, there we go. We got to come full circle. But we
got to end on a good note.
Yeah. With all of that being said, that's all we have time for this episode of Dialogue Alley Podcast. If you want to reach out to us, you can do so in a lot of different ways. I'm just going to name a few for everyone. Dialoguealley.com, Dialogue Alley Podcast on Instagram. We're also on X. You can always find us. I was going to say, I don't know where. You could also find more information on these books and things like that through Peter's channel, which is the Potter Collector on YouTube and the Potter Collector kind of everywhere. He's our biggest fan. And again, we're so happy. I feel like we haven't mentioned in a while, but because we're a Potter Collector official podcast, you know, he's a big part of what we do. And so you guys know, like, every time we're like planning an episode or whatever, like, Peter's in the chat talking with us about it. And if you follow Peter, you know, he was in a play for this past season, which he does every year. He's in a play. So that's why he hasn't been on in a while with us. Eric is out sick, so that's where he is. But hopefully we'll have like the whole gang together again real soon. Even though I love just like the Melanie Carly episodes. They're like, we always have fun.
Yeah, and this time we're not going to have technical problems. I'm not going to have technical problems.
God, I hope not. We're going to get like an email from Tommy and he's going to be like, actually, I couldn't understand anything that you guys were saying. Sorry. Tommy,
No.
I would be very upset.
I know. Not again.
I would be so bummed. But if you did like what you were listening to and you like listening to other episodes of our podcast, an additional way that you could support us is on Patreon, patreon.com/dialoguealley. We have a Discord. We have a bunch of other things. I've been trying to plan a bonus episode where Nora records an episode with me just about like, I want to just ask her random Harry Potter things and have her like what her interpretation is. It's in the works, so that's going to be a bonus episode coming
That will be precious
soon. Yeah, I just have to get her on board for it, which I'm sure she would. She's cool like that. But yeah, we have bonus episodes and things like that if you support us on Patreon as well. So lots of cool stuff on there. But for now, it is time to walk back through the archway and into your daily lives, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
See ya.